We live in a world where almost everyone has a phone in their pocket and a story to upload. Birthdays, breakfasts, gym selfies, sunsets, even the boring Tuesday afternoons, all of it ends up online. So when someone never posts a single photo of themselves, not even on their own birthday, people instantly assume something is wrong. They get called shy, mysterious, even arrogant. Some whisper, maybe they're hiding something. But psychologists say the truth is far more human than that. Welcome back. This is Wiser You. Let's begin. First, social media isn't just a photo album, it's a stage. Every post is a small performance, curated, filtered, and timed for an audience. For people who avoid posting, stepping onto that stage feels like exposure, not expression. This connects to the spotlight effect, the deep belief that people are watching us, judging our faces, our outfits, our lives, far more closely than they actually are. For most people, this feeling fades once they close the app. But for some, that spotlight never turns off. Every photo feels like evidence that can be picked apart and replayed. So instead of stepping into the light, they quietly choose the shadows, not because they don't matter, but because the light feels unbearably hot. The second piece is what psychologists call public self-consciousness, being highly tuned into how we appear to others. For these people, posting a photo isn't a 2-second action. It's an emotional transaction. Did I look fat in that picture? Why did only 12 people like it? That transaction can cost more than it gives back. So many simply stop trading, not because they hate themselves, but because they're protecting themselves from a loop that never ends. Here's where it goes deeper. Think about the last time you scrolled through your camera roll before posting. You probably looked at 15 photos before choosing one. The rest got buried forever. This is the iceberg effect. What gets posted is just the tip, the best angle, the best light, the one moment closest to perfect. For people who avoid posting altogether, the gap between the iceberg and what's underneath sometimes feels too wide to bridge. They look at their own photos and feel a quiet mismatch, a feeling that doesn't match the picture. Rather than perform a version of themselves they don't recognize, they choose silence. Silence feels more honest than a polished lie, even if no one else can see it that way. There's also a quieter reason: control. For some, social media isn't a diary, it's a window other people use to peek into their lives. For someone who has been hurt before, by an ex who monitored them, a family member who criticized every photo, or strangers who left cruel comments, that window can feel dangerous. So they close the curtains, not out of secrecy, but self-protection. Their face becomes the one thing that algorithms and strangers cannot access without permission. In a world where so much feels exposed, that boundary becomes sacred. Interestingly, this isn't always rooted in low self-esteem. Sometimes it's the opposite. Some people simply don't need external validation to feel real. This is having a strong internal sense of self-worth, where value doesn't rise and fall with likes or comments. For them, a moment that isn't posted doesn't lose meaning. If anything, it gains meaning because it stays untouched, fully theirs. While others chase the dopamine hit of public approval, these people have quietly learned to find that satisfaction internally, through memory and presence, without needing anyone to confirm it happened. There's also a privacy angle. Faces have become data, scanned, stored, sometimes used in ways we never agreed to. For people aware of this, choosing not to post their face isn't paranoia, it's a quiet form of digital self-defense. They're not antisocial, they're simply more careful about what permanent footprint they leave behind in a world that rarely forgets. So if you're someone who doesn't post your photos, here is the truth. You don't owe anyone your face as proof your life is happening. You don't need an audience to validate your joy, your trips, or your quiet afternoons. And if you've wondered about a friend or partner who never posts, maybe now you can see it differently. It's rarely about hiding. More often, it's about protecting something too personal to display, peace, privacy, or simply the freedom to live a moment without performing it. In the end, a life well lived doesn't need witnesses to be real. Sometimes the most meaningful moments are the ones that never make it online, because they were never meant for anyone but you. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you post often, or do you prefer to keep things private? Either way, there's no wrong answer. Thank you for walking with Wiser You. Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep exploring the deeper layers of the mind together next week. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.